Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm gonna go over how to different method of creating the upper body and the lower pelvis as one mesh. So this is different from the vampire girl modeling tutorial series, and different from the Powerpuff Girl modeling tutorial series. A little bit different strategy. Alright, so let's just take a look. And so you can see here like this. And here's at level 1. And just apply hardened edges. Hardened edges makes it look more faceted. You can see this down here. And the good thing about this is that the loops, there are 18. There's 18 faces. So it basically means I just need to get something like a cylinder with 18 sides, probably, give or take. So, and 9 on one side, 9 on the other side, something like that. Yeah. So a nice even number. Alright, so I have here the orthographic sketches, and this was designed by a student. Yeah, and I put the orthographic sketches above the floor, the grid, and you can see it's, you know, right down the middle. And then this one as well, it's the image plane is right down the middle of the grid vertical axis line, which in turn matches up with this vertical line for the character. So some things to go over a bit. So this and this, come on. This is the widest point, right? I discussed this over in the other modeling tutorials, where you have to make sure and distinguish and continue to think about the widest point. Always have your widest point in your background when you're modeling, because just like in sculpting, where you know, they're thinking about the shape, right? In the world of 3D, we're also thinking about the general overall shape. I mean, obviously, but these are the key points right here, see? And then this here is the widest point around the waist, see? Widest point from the front view. Then this here is the widest point from the side view. And there's the rear, and it tapers in. And if you notice, the faces, they all nicely transition. See how they nicely, ooh, except for over here. You notice that for the most part, it nicely transitions. See, all around. When you look at it. Well, this should be a little bit more plump. Over here should be a little bit more plump. So if you study the lines, you notice that they're very organic. See? Except for here. But yeah, and these are the again, this shows the widest point in terms of the edges. Previously I showed the widest point in terms of the faces, right? And now you can see the edges, the widest point, kind of like in drawing too. See, these are extremely important. They will make or break your model. And then later on about understanding socket areas where the limbs, you know, insert and extrude from, origin and insertion points of your limbs. Yeah, so it's really important to keep these in mind in the back of your head, to continually think about it. And even over here too. There. These are your main important parts. And then probably, yeah, this too. They hold everything together basically. They literally hold everything together. Right. So please do keep that in mind. I don't know who's gonna pay attention or not, but it will make or break your model. I'm gonna hide it. Alright, so I'm gonna first start off with a cube. Well, first make sure you're in the modeling menu. Make sure you have your symmetry turned on, Object X, and put in your image references, right? Also make sure that your image references, for example, right, I'm gonna set this back, that you set them back in space, right? Because if you have your image references here and here, right, at their default values, right, if you just leave it here, because I know some students will actually still do that. When you model, right, it gets in the way, meaning that you can't see through it. See, I can't see through the mesh on the other side of the mesh, right? That's what I mean by, right? So if I were to go and grab the image plane, right? So if you look here and here, right, so you take a look here, I'm gonna push this back in 3D space. See? If you take a look here, make sure to push this back. That's the reason why I do that. And this one as well, you know, you don't want to have it going this way, because now you can't see your model. Even if you press 4 for wireframe, you just can't see it. So you gotta make sure to push it back this way. Yeah. And make sure your figure, right, your image plane is looking this way. See the eyes? Because if not, if yours is facing this way, right, this is in relation to the right orthographic view. I repeat, this is in relation to the right orthographic view, right, because this is the default from what I believe. Then, you know, if your drawing is facing this way, that means you're going to be modeling backwards. See, this is front, this is back. So you have to be aware of that. Yeah. Alright, so that's about it for that. Then make sure they're on the display layers. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna set through look through camera front. Grab that, look through camera side, so I don't see it in the 3D world, but I do see it in my orthographics. I'm gonna set it to reference. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna grab that, I'm gonna hide it. Alright, I'm gonna make a cube. I'm gonna go into its inputs, put -1. Basically, it's gonna put it above the grid line, and the pivot point is on the base floor, which makes it easier for scaling and stuff. Alright, next. I'm gonna name it. I don't know, like main body. And you want to save it. Like work in progress. Alright, so that's your basic setup. Then what you want to do is, with it selected in object mode, do shift, right click, right shift and right click, right mouse button click, hold it, and do a smooth. Turns into this weird looking shape. Right, this is based off the cube and it's doing the smoothing algorithm. Set this to 2. So this is basically our Play-Doh to form and shape the body, right? That's what that is. This is at level 1. If you press 3, it basically looks like this. And it looks pretty similar to a sphere, but a sphere has, if I make a sphere, the difference is that a sphere has, at the tips, it pinches, whereas this does not pinch. This is the massive difference between the two. This is much easier to model than doing this, because this pinches and it just causes mayhem. That's why we did this method. Blender has this already set up by default. That's one of their shapes, I believe, but not in Maya. I'm gonna go back in here. Next step is to press D as in David, activate the move pivot, hold V as in Victor to do snapping. Grab it, snap it right there. Press W to get out of it. Now I'm gonna lift it up. This is gonna be the basically upper torso, right? So the upper torso, I guess right around here ish. This is the pelvis down here, upper torso around here. Press R, pull up, and then pull this way. Press 3 so you can see the smooth preview. Go into the front, pull like this, and then pull up like that. Maybe pull down a bit. Go between 1 and 3, 1 and 3. Something like that. Yeah. And there you have it. Something like that. And then if I want, I could kind of tilt it a bit, right? And when I tilt it carefully. I don't just grab anywhere. Press E for the rotate. And the red circle, red axis, you just rotate. And make sure that this is set up, that only rotate X is turning. These other two should not be having values, because if they do, your model's already wrecked. Just gonna pull it down, just give or take around this area. Right, so that works. Press 5. I can turn on right here X-ray, turn on anti-alias. Right. Then I can turn on also screen space ambient occlusion. That's for later on. It helps cause shadowing. And then here, I always know where your front is. And I'm gonna turn on this and also turn on this shadows. So this and this. Right now it's not evident, but it will soon be. Alright, so do an incremental save. I'm gonna go and start pulling. I'm gonna grab 3 at a time. 3 at a time because it's middle and this side. So that's what I mean by 3 at a time. And make sure you have your symmetry on. And then I'm gonna just pull. I'm gonna just pull. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna pull 3 at a time. Pull. This is from the side view. Grab those. I'm gonna pull it down a bit. And I'm always thinking about this midline, right? This is my midline, like I just discussed at the beginning of the tutorial series and this tutorial, right? Always be aware of your midline. These are your supporting midlines for your rib cage. So this is the rib cage. This is the widest point right now, right? Obviously, you know, this right here. I'm gonna just pull it back a bit. See? So now we know this is front, this is back. Whereas before, it's more neutral. But if I pull it back, now we have a little bit more better understanding. I'm gonna pull this back too. I double click the edge to pull it back. Right, see? So you can kind of see what's happening. Right? This right here. Right? Always keep in mind of this. And always keep in mind of this. God damn it. Continuously keep in mind. Anyway, I'm gonna grab from the front. I'm gonna pull, pull, pull. See, I'm grabbing this chunk at a time. Right. I'm gonna grab this 3, pull it in. I'm gonna pull it out like that. Grab this, pull, grab that, pull, those 3, pull. So I'm making the outer edge of my shape, right? Then I'm gonna grab the supporting areas, which are these, right? Maybe I'll just kind of pull. If I go between 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 will help me to see how much I can push it, meaning that the spacing between each facet, between each face. See, this means too much stretching going on. So I'm gonna grab the front and the back. These 2 means it's the front and the back. I'm gonna pull like this. These right here, I'll pull it down. I'm gonna tuck it in up to here. And you'll understand why I'm doing that. This right here, I'm gonna tuck that in as well.